All right, so again, to start, good morning. My name is Jason Eilenfeld. I am with Social Studies School Service and Nystrom, and here to share with you guys a little bit about Active Classroom. You guys were granted access to Active Classroom this school year, and so you guys will be able to do all these things that you guys see here today, as well as assign out to your students. We are rostering you guys with the district, so your students are already preloaded for you, and they're loaded into Active Classroom, which is really nice. You guys shouldn't have to mess with rosters or anything like that. So we still have a couple of people joining. I'm going to admit these people in here. I'm going to admit all. Hopefully I covered everybody that one. Let's see, admit. Okay, so we still have people joining. If you guys would, when you join in, if you guys can mute yourselves until you have a question. I do want you guys to be active participants in this, to ask questions as we go, so please feel free to do so. And we'll get kind of going into this. So here we go. Got more people joining in here. I apologize. Let me admit all. I don't have anybody co-hosting with me to help admit people in, so I'm gonna have to go back and forth here. But so this is an introduction to Active Classroom, which you guys have access to in Grand Prairie ISD. So today we're gonna get in, and I'm gonna actually have you guys go in as my students, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like here in just a few minutes. But first I wanna show you guys from your side, from the teacher side, how you guys get into Active Classroom in Grand Prairie. So here we go. These are screenshots that Lynette sent to me. How do I log into Active Classroom? And so you'll go into, I guess this is your Grand Prairie, I'm not sure what you guys call it, your sandbox or your through your Grand Prairie ISD website, and you go to resource links. And when you click on the resource links here, it's going to take you into this right here. And look, at the very, very top, you're going to see Active Classroom. When you click on that link, it should log you in automatically. I believe you guys use Clever, so it does recognize you, and you should just use your district credentials to log into the site. And it should be pretty simple for you. But again, to just kind of back up and show you that again, to get into Active Classroom as a teacher, you're going to go through the resource links and you're going to click on Active Classroom there. So that's how we're going to do after I show you guys today some other things from a student perspective. So to get in for a teacher, you're going to go through your district website and click on that. But for this morning, for right now, what we're going to do is go a little bit different route. So I'm going to grab this link here and I'm going to paste it into the chat box. And so I'm going to go here. This is Active Classroom, and I'm just going to grab as a teacher here. I'm going to add you guys as my students. So when I give you this link, I do not want you guys going in any other way. I'm going to post this into the chat box. So here we go. It's getting posted. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on that link. So I just posted a link into the chat box, and I'm going to show you guys what that link looks like. And this is what I would like you guys to do with this link. This is just for this morning. So I want to be very clear. This is just for this morning. I'm going to delete all of these students probably later on in the week. And what I want you guys to do, and this is how I'm going to take attendance. So click on the link in the chat box. You're going to put your first name, your last name, and then your email address is not your school email address. So please follow these instructions very clearly. What I would like you to do is click on the link in the chat box, put your first name, your last name. Your email address is going to be your first name at yourlastname.com. Your first name at yourlastname.com. If you would like to get credit for this, this is what you guys need to do. So please click on the link that I posted in the chat box. I'm going to post it again. And here's the link. Everybody should be able to see the link there in the chat box. You'll click on the link. You're going to use your email as your first name at yourlastname.com. That is how I'm taking attendance today. So everybody needs to go in, click on the link, and it's going to look like this. You'll have a student registration. Make sure it says student registration. your first name, your last name, and then your email address is going to be your first name at your last name.com. Your first name at your last name.com. So if everybody would go ahead and do that. I've got, let's see, we've got 60 people here in the session. So I should see 60 students in my class. So when you guys fill that out, remember you're using your first name at your last name.com. You will confirm it over here. And then down at the bottom, you have to select the class. And I made it very simple for you. And I made it GPISD. That is the name of the class. So that's you guys, Grand Prairie ISD. Agree to the terms and register. So it's very, very, very easy. This is not something you're going to use again after this morning. This is just for me to take attendance. Create a password. Yes, just do a simple password. I mean, you can even use the word password for a password, or it just has to be 6 letters or numbers long. So sometimes I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But you're using your first name at your last name.com. So click on the link in the chat, put your first name in, your last name, and then for your email address, you are using your first name at your last name.com. Now, don't use the word.
Hi, Jason.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Lynette?
The teachers can log in from the district website through
I know.
Clever.
I know. This morning, yeah, I'm having.
Sure.
They're going in as students, and I appreciate.
Okay, gotcha.
Actually, Lynette, I appreciate you hopping in. I did show them this is the path to get in. Right when they're a teacher, but for this morning, we are just using this so they can be my students for a little bit.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry. That's what happens when you drop in and it's.
Oh, no worries. Started. No, I know you're busy hopping into a lot of different sessions. So
thanks.
Yeah, this is the way I'm going to take attendance too. So if everybody would use your first name at your last name.com to set up your temporary account. I'm going to drop the link back in again. So you'll click on that link. And you will come in as a student registration. So first name, last name, and then your email address is going to be your first name at lastname.com. You'll have to set just an easy password, and this is going to be deleted after today. And then you're going to select Grand Prairie ISD for your class. And this is just for you guys to get in and see what it looks like as my student. All right, so I'm still got a couple of people joining in here. I'm going to post the link again one more time, and you're going to register. You're going to use your first name, your last name, and then your email is not your Grand Prairie ISD email. It is your first name at your last name.com. And so that way I can give Lynette a full attendance summary when we're done. So you guys get credit for this. Okay, so now that everybody has gotten the link and everybody has registered as one of my students, I'm going to show you what it should look like now. So when you guys click on this, this is what it looks like from the student perspective. And what I did prior to this session is I assigned you guys some different activities. I don't want you to spend a ton of time on these activities, but I would like you guys to go in and see those. So I'm going to walk you through real quickly what it looks like from the student side. And you can see all the notifications of all of these different assignments that I assigned to you guys this morning.
This looks like Canvas.
So you can actually embed these into Canvas, and we are actually doing some deeper integration with Canvas very soon. I believe by the summertime, we're going to have communication with the grade book and everything like that. So everything will just pass through very, very simply. But yes, you can currently embed these lessons into Canvas. All right, so I'm going to show you guys a couple of items here from the student side. You're going to have a button over here for the atlases. Students only see the Nystrom atlases that you share with them. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit later how to share these atlases. It's a very simple one click. You do it one time at the beginning of the school year, and your students always have access to whichever atlases you choose. For this session this morning, as my students, I assigned you guys all of the Nystrom atlases. Then you'll also have a maps tab up here. I'm not sure I don't think you guys have that one in Grand Prairie, but you may have access to that too, and you can check those out. But for this morning, what I would like you guys to do now, I'm going to turn you loose for about 15 minutes, and I would like you guys to go into assignments and grades. So you're going to click on assignments and grades. And then I would like you to just go and explore some of these different activities. And I would like you to do some of the activities. So right here, the first one, and I tried to give you guys an example. I gave you an example from world history, from geography, for another one from world history, US history, 11th grade, 6th grade world cultures. I did something for 8th grade, and I just realized that I forgot to assign something for Texas history, but we do have plenty of Texas history content in here. So maybe I'll assign one of those while you guys are working on this. But what I would like you guys to do is simply go in and launch it as a student. And so from the student side, you will see the specific instructions that I gave you. And I highlighted this first one because this is something that I just learned about this year, that you guys are going to be having new STAR and EOC types, question types. And so I thought this would be really nice for you guys to see and your students to get practice with. There's a new format coming in for EOC questions, and you'll have things like these drag and drop, these ones where it's not just A, B, C, or D, but they're going to have to do different things like this here. This one is called the hotspots. This is a new type of assessment question where the students will have to link up onto a map certain information. You're also going to have things here like reorganization. So where they're going to have to recategorize things. This one here, they're having to drag and drop them and place them in correct order. Then on the next one here, you're also going to have multiple select types of questions where the students are going to have to select multiple ones. So what I would like you guys to do for the next 15 minutes, so we're going to come back at 10:28 together for some debriefing and discussion. And what I would like you guys to do is work through these activities and then turn each one in. So click on the turn in button right there. And so turn in each assignment as you go. And so to go back, you just click on the word active classroom. It takes you back to the home screen always. So you're going to go to your assignments and grades, and you're going to work through these. And I'm going to let you guys work quietly. If you have questions, I'm going to hang out here. But I would like you guys to work until 10:28. And then we're all going to come back together and we're going to discuss. And then I'm going to go into some greater depth on assigning. Okay. Accidentally logged out, can't log back in.
I'm in PD.
Okay, Diane, I'm going to grab you real quick here. Let me. Did you set a password, Diane?
Yes,
Okay, can you log in with that username and password?
I tried and it gets me to my page with my students. It doesn't get me back to your class.
Oh, okay, because it's logging you in here. Okay, so clear out the information in there and go to activeclassroom.com. And then type in this email address for your login, Diane@raymond.com, and then whatever password you have. Because it probably autofills for you and automatically logs you in. So let me know if you get stuck on anything there. All right, guys, you should be working through those assignments. I should start seeing people turning them in. And you can take your time. Like I said, you've got now about 13 minutes to work through some of those.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, great.
It says Atlas of the World History, Hungry Planet, Germany.
Yep, those are the activities. So you'll go through and you will just click the little launch button to try them out.
Okay.
Okay. Looks like we did have somebody just join us. So for you that just joined, oops, I set that to just Diane here. For those of you that just joined, there is the link that you're going to click on for this training today. You're going to be one of my students. So you're going to set up a temporary student account. Do not use your Grand Prairie ISD account. Instead, use your first name at yourlastname.com to set up your temporary student license. That is for attendance, so make sure that you guys all do it so that you get credit for being here this morning.
What's the email? Is your first name at your last name.com?
Yep, that's all. That's what you're doing with that link that I gave you in the chat box. So you'll click on that link. I'll show you what it looks like here. You'll put your first name, your last name, and then your fake email is going to be your first name at yourlastname.com. You'll confirm it, you'll set a password, and you will choose Grand Prairie ISD for your class. Okay, Jason, Jason Bonato, I'm gonna mark you down there. Thank you. All right, y'all. So you guys just start working through those activities that I've assigned to you. And I just want you to experience them, just to check them out.
I have a question. What's the password again?
You set your password to whatever you want. Very simple. You can use password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want, something
then
very simple. Again, these accounts are going to be deleted. After today, I just want you guys to experience what it's like from the student perspective. I think it's a really good way to get yourself familiar with something.
What's the email again? First name, last name. What's the said .com?
I'm sorry, was there a question?
Yes, sir. You said it's first name. For email, you put your first name dot last name .com.
No, your first name at lastname.com. Your first name
Say breaking. I can't hear you.
at lastname.com.
Okay. Thank you.
So as you guys are working, you will notice that on the Hungry Planet Germany one, I did ask you guys to post something to the discussion board. And so look at the little icons at the top right. And as you guys are exploring the activities, I want you to see what those icons offer. And so check those out, and that's where you will find the discussion board. Okay, thanks, Jason.
So we launch this to get into the assignment, is that it?
Yes, you click on the little rocket ship to launch the assignment. And then you'll want to explore these little icons on the top right. They're pretty intuitive and pretty simple to use. If you hover over top of it, it tells you what each thing is. And so you'll notice that I've given you guys specific instructions for each one of those assignments as you go through. So I would like you guys to practice what it asks you to do. Some of them don't always have like a real specific to the activity, but I wanted you guys to explore some of the different features in there. And remember, what I would like you guys to do is turn in the assignments as you kind of glance through them. I'm not expecting you to do the full assignment. I mean, I'm only giving you, now you've got about 9 minutes left. So I don't expect you guys to be perfect, but I do want to see some grades in there so I can show you guys from the gradebook side what it looks like as a teacher. So make sure that you're turning them in and go on to the next assignment and just explore each one of them and some of the different things that they offer. Great, I'm glad to see everybody being able to get in. That's good. And one thing I'm not sure if you guys have figured out yet, like when you get to the second assignment, the table of contents is on the left-hand side in case anyone's having trouble navigating through, because there are multiple parts to many of these assignments. And so you'll use the table of contents on the left-hand side. If you see the words in white over on the left-hand side, you click on those to go to the next part of the assignment. And it's fairly intuitive, but just wanted to make sure you guys knew that. Okay, you should be at least 2 assignments in. Try to kind of just skim through some of these next assignments on here. Maybe select one that you know is from your subject area. Like the one on the gulags would be like world history. The immigrants in the city would be US history, where people live, where we're looking at kind of world cultures. And I forgot I was going to assign one of those Texas history ones too, real quick. I'll do that while you guys are working. Go to I've just added another assignment for Texas history. So if anybody's wanting to see that, you can go back to your assignments and grades and see that Texas history assignment. And make sure you guys are turning in your assignments. I'm seeing several people that haven't turned in the first assignment. So make sure you guys are going through and turning those in. When you're in the assignment, it allows you to select turn in. And again, I'm not expecting perfect answers for anyone. So go ahead and guess and we won't criticize. All right, we've got about 3 more minutes before we all join back together. All right, guys, just in about another minute or so. Make sure you try to turn in multiple assignments for me.
I've got a question. Under the comparison essay,
Yes.
I chose 3 and 4, but it won't allow me to type anything in the blanks. Is there a reason for that?
Okay, let me take a look here. Jason 2. Jason 2. Let me see here. Assignments. And this is the debating the documents one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see here. Go down to the. So you selected documents 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then we went on to the comparison essay. Did you click inside the box?
Mm-hmm. And it wouldn't give me a cursor.
And what device are you using right now?
My laptop.
Your laptop? That is really bizarre. Maybe go out of the assignment
Mm-hmm.
and then go back. Did you accidentally turn it in already? Because if you turn it in, it won't let you. Does it say turned in at the top?
Okay, yeah, it does say turned in. Okay.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
turned it in before I was finished. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's.
that would happen with the students as well?
So it can, but you can unlock the student very simply. And I'm glad that you experienced that, so that was a direction I probably should have addressed, right? So let me go to the students. Right here, grade assignments and grades. Grade book. And what was your name again?
Ola.
Lola? Okay. So I'm going to go back to assignments, doing the documents. I'm going to allow you a new attempt. So now you'll be able to get back in.
Okay.
So I'm just going to hit save, and now you are able to get back in. Okay, so we are coming to the end of our exploration time here. So if you guys would come back together to my screen, so make sure you can see my screen in the Zoom call. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the assignments, and let's talk about them a little bit. So give me some feedback, some thoughts here. And so I'm going to open up the assignments and grades. And we already kind of looked at the Atlas of World History Level 2 on Alexander the Great. I kind of did a quick little overview with that. A couple of tricks that you guys may have encountered, and this is good for talking it through with your students, is making sure that they click through each one of the items before they turn it in. And so that's something that your kids are going to mess up maybe once. And then after that, they'll be pretty clear on what they're supposed to do. So the Hungry Planet Germany one. So I gave you guys this assignment to do. And right here, we've got the image analysis, and it gives us directions. It says, click on the image, zoom in, and answer the analysis questions. So you should click on this image here, and we can see this family in Germany. And I love this one because that kid right there in the middle looks like every middle school student I've ever taught. Their arms crossed, just kind of pouty look on his face. So that's a good one there. But I did post a question for you guys in the chat room. So did anybody figure out how to get to the chat room? The discussion board? So what you will do is at the top right-hand side of the screen, you should have seen these little icons. And so there's a little discussion forum right here. When you click on that, it's going to take you into the discussion forum. And I can see right here, this is the discussion for this assignment. Oh, look. All right, Caroline, thank you for writing your response there. And I put the question, what does their diet indicate about how the median family in Germany lives? And Caroline responded, you can see that they have a variety of food available to them, from meats, cheeses, frozen food, bread, alcohol, etc. So we're getting some good responses in there, and the kids can just type their response in. You can just reply to this question right here. I think they won't starve. Okay, so they definitely have plenty of food, and I can type that in, and the student responses will just generate down below. And so that's what it looks like from the student side of things. And it actually opened up if I go back a tab, it actually opened up that discussion forum in a second tab, so they can always go back to it. You'll notice on the left-hand side, these are the table of contents here. And so the students would click through these and they would be able to answer the inferencing questions down here below. I really like these Hungry Planets. There are a ton of, well, not a ton of them. There's about like 15 different countries that you explore. And then there's this big overarching, like culminating activity where the students have to analyze a bunch of statistics based on what they see in the images and based on the strategic readings that they've attacked throughout the school year. And so it has some really interesting breakdowns of things with that. All right, let's take a look at the next assignment I gave you guys. And so that was the Histories, Mysteries, the Gulag. I don't know if anybody got a chance to go in and dive into this. And it tells you here that you're a detective. Kids love doing these ones. Teachers love doing these ones, especially when we're in person. I usually print these off and we do a gallery walk with the images from the PowerPoint presentation. And so let's see here. I did the Gulag assignment. Thank you, Michelle. So right here, they click on this to download the actual slideshow. And so when this opens up here, you're going to see the crime scene that students have to investigate. And this is one of my favorite ones, this Gulag, because there is a crime that's been committed. As the students work through this, here's the crime scene. We're going to see that, you know, the first thing the kids are going to think is, oh, there was an axe murder or something like that. And they're going to see, oh, this was in a prison camp here in Siberia. Then it goes into the coroner's report and they're going to get some information. They're like, wait a minute, she didn't die from an axe. She was frostbitten. She had scrapes, bruises, cuts on her hand. She was severely or fatally malnourished. Okay, so was a crime actually committed here? And so then you go into the detectives area research where you learn about Stalinist Russia and you learn about communism, you learn about what Stalin did to his people. And then another question really starts to formulate as the kids work through these. They're gathering all kinds of information from the slideshow here. They learn that this woman had actually stolen food from a collective farm that used to belong to her family before the Stalin government seized the farm and made it a collectivist farm. So she was trying to save her starving children and give them some food. And so she had been hiding grain and she got caught. So she did commit a crime. And so there's that aspect where you can look at it from, oh, she committed this crime. But what I like about it is it has a bigger question of, are all laws necessarily ethical? You know, was there a crime against humanity committed with the Stalinist government? And so it kind of opens it up for some of those great discussions. These are phenomenal. But the kids work through these and they answer over here. You've got a forensic report. And so the kids have to list out what objects they saw, what the people looked like. Then they go through the coroner's report, and then they go through the detective's area research. They make all kinds of notes that they take based on what they saw. And then there's a forensic analysis at the end where they have to decide what crime took place, who's responsible, who's the perpetrator. And then there's some other assessments here. I like to think of these as like a menu where the kids can select which items they want to do for an assessment, or you can assign all of them or just one of them. Active Classroom allows you to assign bits and pieces of lessons if you choose. And so what I actually did was I did that. So if we go on to the next one, this Debating the Documents, Immigrants in the City, this was a larger assignment. And there is a background essay that accompanies this, a timeline. There's additional resources where they're having to go in and look at written primary source documents. But for the assignment today, I only assigned you guys 4 small pieces of the lesson. So the first piece of the lesson here is going to be 2 primary source documents, and they're categorized. See how there's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And so there's background information on these documents, and then it tells us to click on the image to analyze. So when you click on it, it's going to open up in this image examiner. And you notice that you can scroll over top and look for details. And we see this boy eating something, you know, there's looks to be like a lunch or something like that in his lap. What's going on in the background here? We see a boat, we see a harbor perhaps in the background, and it says their first Thanksgiving dinner. And so the students would answer these questions. Notice the scaffolding of these questions down below: main idea or topic, background information, and then sometimes it gets into higher order thinking skills, like looking at, maybe like bias, recognizing bias in images or making inferences and things like that. I love this image. This is one of my favorites. I used to use this all the time when I taught 11th grade US history. I use this primary source all the time because there's so much going on in this photograph, and I love that image examiner to be able to look at that, to see there's the sinister face up here in the clouds. What are these people doing here? What's this guy? He's reaching his arm out. You know, it's Uncle Sam. There's all kinds of information going on in these documents. They look at documents 3 and 4 next. So they're going to do the same thing. They'll click on it. They'll answer the questions. Notice that it goes from main idea into compare and contrast. And then we have a comparing the documents question, where the students are asked to answer this question. Which set of documents would be most useful to a historian trying to understand the impact of life in the city on American immigrants? And so they would select which one that they felt best answered that. Then they have to defend themselves. And so right here, you can see I've started to defend my stance with that. Looks like I had a question come in the chat box. Do these features work on their iPads? Yes, they do. So what's a little bit different with the iPad, with these images here, to click on or to zoom in or look at a spot on the iPad, they'll actually tap their finger where they want to zoom. So they'll hover over where they want to zoom and they'll tap. Whereas if you're on a desktop, you'll just hover with your mouse and you can see those things. But with an iPad, you just tap where you want to enlarge. And then they can enlarge it here as well. All right, good questions. So moving on, going to the next assignment, I'm just going to kind of go through these again. I really like these ones, the World Atlas activities. Here it says work through each question that turn in your assignment. And so for this one, the students are asked to drag, you know, which ones are rural, which ones are urban. So they're going to do this here. They're going to add these in. They're going to drag these over here and drag these over here. So there's some things like that. And then you will have to work with your kids on reminding them to click the next button and make sure they answer everything. It will give them a warning if they try to not answer anything and skip it. So if I just skip this one right now, it's telling me, oh, more answers are required. So make sure you go back and then they can reorganize these ones here. That's another one of those. And then here, another drag and drop type of question or assignment. And over here, you'll notice on this side, there is the same thing, the little magnifying tool here, and they can take these maps to full screen. So you'll find all kinds of things like graphs, maps, images, and different things like that in these World Atlas activities, as well as the Atlas of US History, Atlas of World History, Desk Atlas, and then coming soon, the Texas History Atlas questions will be dropped in here soon. All right, so that's that. And then this last one here is the Storyteller's History. Actually, there's one more I'm going to go back to. And notice here I said, as you read, highlight and explain foreshadowing of coming conflict and challenges for Lincoln. And so this is just a really short, I just picked out 2 small pieces of this reading right here. And so I just selected 2 pieces of this one. And so this is going to look at Abraham Lincoln's election. And so they're going to be able to look at this map and they're going to see here where the votes fell. And then down below it lists out popular vote, electoral votes, things like that, and then some things here. So I did ask you to, in the instructions, I asked you to highlight and annotate, right? And so right here, he did not win a single Southern state. I'm going to highlight that as foreshadowing. And I'm going to click on this right here. And look, my custom highlights are there. As a teacher, I went in and I preset these. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that here in a few minutes. But I select this one and it says, I'm going to type in very divided nation. So that's going to be my response in here. And the cool thing about this is you can actually watch your students' annotations in real time and give them feedback. So as your students are interacting with text, one thing I really love about this is really getting students to really deeply interact with text. A lot of times, not having a purpose for reading, okay, open the textbook, read, chapter 1, answer the 3 questions at the end, but what is their purpose for reading? And I love this because it forces students to have a purpose for their reading. So as they're looking at this information here, they are looking for very specific things. I did not select any text here. I'm just going to highlight this. I know it doesn't really fit what I'm looking for here, but right there, I can type in, whatever I want for those, and I can go through and add those in. The last assignment I'm going to talk about right now is the Texas history decision making. There are a ton of decision making activities for US history, for world history, a few that you can use for like world geography and world cultures that are definitely appropriate. These are phenomenal lessons, and there's so much extra context that's in this that is available to the teacher, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like here in a few minutes as well. So this one here starts off with just some of the vocabulary that they're going to need for this here, and they're going to go in and they're going to look at Mexican Americans. And so right here, they're going to read through this here, and it tells them that the year is 1965, and you're a member of the civil rights group pushing for equal rights of Mexican Americans in Texas. And so the kids will read through, and then they're going to list at least 6 possible actions that they could take. And then which of the actions would you listed would bring you favor. And then right here, they actually have the options. So they have that same passage again. And then down below, they're going to select which tactics they're going to support. And so after they've selected which tactics they're going to support, they're usually going to go on with some type of writing response here later on. But then this one moves into African Americans. And so a different perspective on the civil rights movement here. And again, they're going to have those same types of questions. And then down below, it's going to have their options again. And so it's going to have their options over here. And it says, be prepared to discuss your choices. And so the teacher side of this is going to have some more layers to the assignment. And I think you're going to really like what I show you guys with that. So with that being said, I'm now going to jump into my teacher account. And before I do, I'm just going to go back and reference our PowerPoint at the beginning. So for those of you, now that you've done everything with your student account and you've tried it out, don't ever log into that again, or you can if you want to check it out, but I will delete those probably in the next week or so. Those will be purged and deleted from my account, so you won't have access to that. But you do have access as a teacher, and you guys are rostered, and you do have all of your students being able to access, and you guys go in. Do you guys use ClassLink or Clever? I can't remember now. Is it Clever? I think it's Clever for you guys. But
Yes.
so
Yes.
Clever.
It's clever.
Cool, thank you. So they're going to click on the resource links, right? Or you're going to click on the resource links, and then you're going to click on Active Classroom. It's the very first one under your resource links, and it says Social Studies School Service /Nystrom. So make sure you guys go that way to go in. All right, looks like we have a question popping up here. What is Clever? Clever is something that just automatically recognizes you. And so you probably never even really interacted with it. You just type in your school credentials and it automatically logs you in. So Clever is not something that you actively engage with probably on a regular basis. It's just something that's working in the background. It recognizes you and it recognizes your students. So that's how you go that way. All right, so now I'm going to show you from the teacher side. We're going to start with a couple of things here. I'm going to start with the atlases. And so when you click on atlases here, there's a reason that I wanted you guys to see what it looked like for the atlases. So right here, you see underneath, and it tells you at the very top of the screen that you are supposed to share this with your students in order for them to see it. So you're going to see atlases, but your students will not see atlases until you've done one thing. You click on the 3 little dots under their name. You only have to do this one time. You add your class and you hit share. And that's it. So do that one time at the beginning of the school year, or do it right now if you guys have not gone into Active Classroom. Share these out, and then your students will always have access to these atlases. Now, from the student side, it's simply just a flip book. So you're not going to have the activities with this. This is just a nice resource and reference guide. You guys probably have these atlases in your classroom. So these are nice to just have them in digital format as well, so that you're not having to, wear out your atlases. All right, so that's the atlases. Remember, what do you have to do? Can somebody type it into the chat or unmute and respond? What's the one thing you have to do as a teacher?
Share.
Very good, share. And you click on the 3 dots underneath the atlas you want to share. You can go ahead and share all of the atlases. It doesn't matter. We just did that so that you could control which atlases your students saw. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys how to find and assign. So you can start off down here with the curriculum maps. We have all of your grade levels listed out for you, and we are currently still in the process of building out our African American and Mexican American studies, but you can take a look at those if you wanted to. They are about, I think Mexican American studies is about halfway done, and African American studies is, I think, about a quarter of the way done. So they are set to be completely finished by the fall. So check those out. Kind of explore. We did hire some writers to write some new content for us, specifically for those courses. So I think you guys would like what's in there. But anyway, so you're going to select your grade level. And so I'm just going to go with 8th grade US history. And so when this opens up, you're going to see kind of suggestions for you. And so we have all of the different units over here on the left-hand side. I imagine you guys are probably at least to sectionalism by now in 8th grade US history. So it's going to give you your TEKS for these 2 weeks right here. See, it says weeks 1 and 2, and these are the TEKS that are going to be covered, including your process standards and your skills standards and things like that. Then down below, it gives you the TEKS for that specific lesson right here and the title of it. And then it's going to give you some teaching notes. And it's going to give you some very specific things. To view the lesson, you can click on the view button, or you can assign it to your students by clicking on the assign button. Can you guys mute, please? We're getting some background noise. All right, so then this next one down here below. So it just lists out for you guys some of the different activities, weeks 1 and 2. And those are some different options. Okay, so that's one way to find things that are in here. Oops, looks like we have something in the chat. Where did you find these courses? Okay, so to find those courses, you're going to scroll down on your teacher home screen. This is on the teacher page. You're not in your student account anymore. This is the teacher account. You're going to see a button that says curriculum maps, and it has suggestions for you all the way across. Okay, yes, you can go into teacher mode now. So feel free to do so. Just log out and then go through that way, but you don't need to right now. We've only got about 11 more minutes, so I'd prefer if you guys just kind of watch my screen and then you guys can go and practice this right after. So your curriculum maps are down here at the bottom. And now the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to find assignments. You can use that curriculum map, but that's not it. There's more to it. So you're going to be able to find a lot more activities. So click on the button that says activities, and it gives you our entire database. We have over 4,000 activities, almost over 4,500 activities that you can choose from, which can be very overwhelming. But I'm going to show you some ways that you can to narrow this down very quickly. So I'm just going to type in Thomas Paine. Okay, so I type in Thomas Paine, and look, it pulls up just the activities for Thomas Paine, and there's quite a few. There's actually 2 pages worth of activities. So there's 20 on the first page and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the second page. So there's 24 activities surrounding Thomas Paine. Notice there are a few at different Lexile levels. We have the below grade level, we have the on grade level. So some things like that. There's different readings at different levels all throughout the program. All right, so that's one way to search. I can also search by TEKS. So I can click on standards, and I'm just going to stick with that same idea, and I'm going to go with, you're not going to have to do this and search for the state. It automatically defaults to Texas for you. I'm going to hit update, and there are my brand new TEKS. And so I'm going to type in Thomas Paine here, and I'm going to see this search right here. I'm highlighting the box. This is only for words found in the TEKS. So the words common sense is no longer in the TEKS, right? It's not in there. But if I wanted to find things related to common sense, I could type it in the chat box above. It's not a word it's not a words that are found in the TEKS, but instead it's something that has to do with Thomas Paine, right? So I'm going to search this way. So I have Thomas Paine. I'm going to select right here. When you click that box, oops, hold on a minute. When I click this box right here, it is going to pull up everything that is related to that TEK. So now we've narrowed it down by the TEKS, and I want to narrow it down even further by searching the word common sense. And so now it narrows it down even further to just those activities that specifically reference common sense. And so to assign this to your students, now I'm going to show you, you can click on the view button to look at it, or you can click on the little head and shoulders button. So right here, you add it to your class and you hit save assignment and it assigns it to your kids automatically. And it's done. Okay. Let's see here. It looks like somebody's having issues. Andrea, if you would email Lynette and let her know that you're having some issues getting in, then we can connect with the technology department and figure out what's going on. So that is how you get there with, that's how you assign an activity. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys real quickly the grade book. And actually, before I do that, because I'm looking here at the time and we've only got about 8 minutes left. So I do want to show you a couple of other things up here. The question mark button. This question mark button has user guides for both the teachers and the students. And it has short little video tutorials for both teachers and students. Now the students will only see the student user guide and the student help videos, but you as the teacher see all of those. So these are short little tutorials, like the longest one is like 3.5 minutes. So very short little tutorials that walk you through how to do this. There's even a course if you wanted to really become an expert at Active Classroom. You can click on AC 101 and go through a designated course. There is instructions for how to embed links into Canvas. And this is all found under the question mark. The question mark can be accessed from any page of Active Classroom. Question mark right here at the top. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type my email address into the chat box. And so I'm going to give you guys my email. I would be more than happy to come and work with your department if you guys wanted to do another one of these like follow-up sessions, question and answer. If you guys wanted me to do 30 minutes, an hour, and work with you guys and really dig in, I'm very flexible. I want to support you guys. I want you guys to be successful with it. And I think when you get going with it, your students are really going to enjoy doing these different activities, and you're going to enjoy how easy it is to grade them and how easy it is to find something really useful that you can use in your classroom on a daily basis. So my contact information is in the chat box before we go into assignments and grades. Now I clicked on assignments and grades, and you guys can see all of the assignments that I've given you guys so far. And notice there's that new one. How do we get students registered? You don't have to register students. Your students are already registered. You can check that by logging in and clicking on Manage Students to see your classes that are already set up in Active Classroom. If you're not seeing that, please email Lynette and we will work with the tech team to get that resolved for you. So yeah, we try to make this as easy for you guys as possible. We know that you guys have so much to do that we try to simplify everything where we could. That's why the curriculum map, if you don't feel like going and searching for things, you can use a curriculum map. That's why we gave you the ability to search by TEKS. That's why we gave you the ability to search by keyword. There's a lot of really cool things you can do in there. And I'm going to go back and show you some things before we leave. But I want to show you guys what it looks like in the gradebook. So if you wanted to look at annotations, where students have annotated different things. I think, which one did I annotate on? Oh, I annotated this one here. You can click the launch button from the teacher side. What this does is this allows you to see it from the student perspective. So launching an assignment from the teacher side allows you to see it from a student perspective, but it also allows you to give feedback to your students in real time. So I can find myself in here. Where am I? Oh wait, did I not put myself in there? Let me try that again. Maybe I'm just skipping over. Oh, there it is. Okay. Right here, I'm going to switch to that student. So I'm going to go to myself and I can see right here my own, these are the annotations I did while you guys were working. And so I can see my annotations. I can click on them and I can give my kids feedback. And when you do that, it gives you a little notification bell over on the right-hand side under the annotations. So that is very, very useful if you're wanting to interact with students that way and give them feedback on assignments. So again, you'll go to assignments and grades, launch if you want to see it from a student perspective, but if you want to grade it, you will click on the grade button. Now, here's what I love about this. It's going to pull up just all of your students. It allows you to filter by class. I can filter by status, so I can see who's turned it in, who has not turned it in, graded and not graded, all right there. But when you click on this, look at those little helpful icons. There's a green one. I can see that Ron has turned it in and it's already been graded. I didn't grade it, so the computer graded it for him. Then it can see here that there were some people that didn't finish. I can see we got a few people that didn't get to this assignment. Maybe they skipped this one and went right to another one. Totally fine. But I can see here that it's already graded for me. And so I can see that Ron here, he got this one correct. This one he didn't have time to get done, but you can see where it's giving you the correct answers and things like that. And let's say he was partially right. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna adjust his grade so you can actually go in and you can make those adjustments afterwards. So if I wanted to go here, now he would have had to actually answer something in order for me to be able to correct this and make this half credit or full credit. Because he didn't put any response in it, it locks it to incorrect. But I can always come up here and I can edit his grade and I can do maybe a 15 out of 25. And when you click out of the box, it automatically saves it. You can see a little green line around it. Oh, sorry about that. My allergies have been kicking up the last couple of days. So right there, it allows you to do all of those things. And then I can also give a student a new attempt. So Ron, I'm going to give him a new attempt because he didn't finish. So I'm just going to, Ron's already been selected. I can add other people in here. I could add in Sean. I could add in Timothy. And I hit save, and it's going to allow them now a new attempt. Now, how do your students see their grades? This is how they see their grades. You'll click on Gradebook. The students will not see the grades until you publish them. So you can see right here, it's already generating grades for me. And I can see here on the World Atlas, I can see grades already being generated. And I can come up here and I can click on this button and I can publish grades. When you publish grades, your students will be able to see. However, it does lock out students from being able to submit. So you can always unpublish those grades later by clicking the green button and clicking unpublished grades. All right, it looks like I've got a couple of chat questions. This is, does it provide the answers to the students? Can we enable this? Yes, you can. So there, it does not provide the answers to the students, but you can select a box. When you click on assign, you're going to see a little box under the notes that allows you to turn on students being able to see answers. How do they get a message when they're given another try? So they will get a message automatically. So on their student page, they're going to see a message that says you've been given another attempt. All right, I'm going to see if there are any other questions. Let's see, is this an app in Canvas? It should be. You guys should be able to find it through the app in Canvas. You can also embed those links. I guess that's the last thing I need to show you. From the teacher side, to embed something into Canvas, you're going to click on the little export button here, not launch, not grade, not edit, but export. And this is the link that you put into Canvas. And so to find out how to do that, click on the question mark. All right, guys, I've hit my deadline here. Please, please invite me to come work with your PLC. Invite me to come in during a team planning time or something like that. I'm more than happy to do so. I want to help you guys be successful, and I think your students will really like interacting with the program. So thank you guys so much for attending today. I'll stick around in case anybody has questions, but we have come to the end of our time. So thank you guys. Have a great day. Awesome. Thank you guys all for attending. And I've got everybody registered as one of my students, so I've got your attendance in there. Thank you guys. Any questions? And again, I'm going to drop my email into there. Jason@socialstudies.com. Very, very easy. Let's see, thank you. Anybody else have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen sharing then. All right, anything I can answer for anybody before we go? No? All right, guys, thank you.